Hey there, guys. So today I'm going to talk about a few things, and it's probably going to sound a little bit crazy, so let's get right into it. First of all, thank you guys so much for 20 subscribers. I am so happy for that. It just blows my mind that you guys want to, sit here and watch me ramble and talk about anything, I guess. But yeah, so 20 subscribers. Thank you guys so much. I love you guys. And as always, thank you for your support. Without you, I wouldn't have a channel. So, there's that. But speaking of my subscribers, specifically Trevor and Mila Kunis, looking at you guys. I know Mila Kunis. Okay, it's an inside joke. Don't worry about it. Um, I'm installing some games on my Xbox right now. The plan for the future, at least, is to have this webcam and then have Twitch on the Xbox because Twitch allows you to export your streams as videos. So what I plan on doing, streaming on Twitch, exporting the video, and then overlaying the webcam into the edited video, and yeah, doing it like that, just so that I can have some semblance of quality, and that way it's not just because whenever I would stream on Twitch before, I was always just a faceless voice. Like I would have a microphone and you could hear me, but you couldn't see me because my webcam doesn't play nice with the Xbox. So that was kind of SOL there. But yeah. So that aside, into the actual meat and potatoes. I recently met somebody in this Pokemon group that I'm in named Simone, and it was one of those kind of situations where it's like she needed help and I'd been there before. Simone's been having some problems with some stuff going on in life, and it's one of those things where it's like she had been suffering in silence, and it just hurt me to be a bystander, I guess. So I stepped in and I was like, "Hey, why don't you get some help? There's people, there's places you can go. There's doing anything is better than doing nothing." And so she's finally starting to get some help, and she's finally going to, start to work on these things. And I'm really glad because she really deserves to be happy, just like everyone deserves to be happy, despite what you think or despite how you feel. You do deserve to be happy, and you do deserve to be loved. But another that's for another time. But yeah, moving on. There was a couple instances that I wanted to talk to you guys about because I just think it's really funny. My mom sees butterflies and sorry, my dad sees butterflies and my mom sees cardinals. And it's just so funny to me because what I'm about to describe, my mom was like, "Oh, well, why do you think Sean would be visiting you in this way as opposed to this way or this way or whatever?" And I'm just like, "Well, you're his parents. He only needs to visit you. Me, he needs to, kind of shove in the right direction every now and again." But it just was so funny to me because I was Ubering and I was sitting around the Wiregrass Mall for anybody that lives in Lakeland, or not Lakeland, Wesley Chapel. It was the shops at Wiregrass. There we go. If I could English today, that'd be great. But yeah, I was doing laps around the Wiregrass Mall, not getting any requests, not having anything. And I'm like, well, you know what? Should I keep going? I was like, no, no, no. I just I just am trying not to get emotional, but I just had this feeling in my gut. I had this feeling in my gut saying, go home, it'll work out, don't worry about it. It's like, okay, I won't worry about it, I'm fine. I go to head home, but I stay online because that's just how I operate, I guess. I just, always make sure that when I go home, I stay online, just in case. And because I left when I left, I ended up making another $60, which might not seem like a lot, but when your goal for the weekend is to make between $150 and $200, making $60 in 3 hours is pretty fucking nice. But yeah. So more to the point of the story here, I kind of just felt this little nudge saying, "Go home, everything will work out." And I'm driving past Saddlebrook, and I get a ping for Saddlebrook, and it was just the damnedest thing because it was literally right as I was driving past, and it just was because of that little nudge. Like if I hadn't gotten the little nudge to say, "Hey, go home," I wouldn't have been at that specific point at that specific time. And it was a bunch of people that wanted to go to Tampa. So sure, why not? It was like 4 people, and they all wanted to go. They were going to Tampa to go to the Channel side. That's what it was. And so we go all the way down to Tampa, go to Channel side. I drop them off, and I'm like, do I turn off Uber? And again, just this little nudge saying, nope, just stay on, just don't worry about it. I go to pull away from Channel side. I get a ping. Okay, where's it at? Literally down the road at Channel side. Oh, okay. So it was one of those things where it's like, because I got I got that little nudge saying, hey, go home. When I got it, I ended up being perfectly situated in the right place at the right time to not just make the people at Saddlebrook's night, but to make the people's night off of Channel side who are going to St. Pete. Now, I don't know if you know about St. Pete, but it's pretty far from Tampa. So the one trip ended up being about $21, and the other trip ended up being about $28, and then I got like $7 in tips. So I'm just calling that $60 for the sake of rounding. But it just was one of those things where stuff just inexplicably fell so perfectly into place that it seems as if it could not be coincidence. And I guess to that extent, I would like to attribute that to Sean, because I feel like he's looking out for me and making sure that, I'm able to do this and I'm able to make a living, and, to an extent, it kind of helps to, bridge the gap. If I mean, it feels like when I get these little nudges and things like that, it makes things feel like, or it makes it feel like he's not so far away. And that is an amazing feeling for me. But, yeah. The second instance is kind of not as productive, I guess you could say, because it involves Pokemon. But Sean, before he passed away, used to do Pokemon breeding. Like, he would breed Pokemon and use them, like, in battles with all his friends, and he would do this, like, competitively, and, he was a little badass in his own right. And I just never really understood the whole process or understood anything about it. But after he passed away, I kind of started to get into it and started to like, okay, well, how does this work? and I realized that I enjoyed it, and I enjoyed helping other people like put together their teams and stuff like that by helping them with Pokemon. So I was breeding Pokemon at one point for this guy, and to make a long story short, the statistical probability of what happened was somewhere around 1 in several million, basically, with how it ended up panning out. I got a, to put it in non-Pokemon terms, I got an albino Pokemon with the best possible genetics. As in, it was a shiny Pokemon with the best stats possible. Couldn't have gotten literally anything better. And I cried. I really did. I just cried because, to me, it was one of those things where it was like, he just, like, because before that happened, I was about ready to give up. I was about ready to stop. I was about ready to change up what I was doing to try to, like, get something better, to try to do it differently, to see if that would work. But I just had this little nudge, this little gut feeling that just said, nope, don't do that. Keep going. Keep going. Just keep going. It'll work. It'll work itself out. And I was like, okay, I'll keep going. And when it hatched, I cried because not only was it shiny, which is anywhere from 1 in 8,000 to anywhere in 1 in 700, but it also had the hidden ability, which is a 1 in 5 chance, and then it had perfect stats, which means that it had a 1 in 31 roll that rolled a 31. So add up all those fractions, and you got about the statistical chance of what happened happening. So to me, I definitely kind of saw that as my cardinal or my butterfly. It was one of those things where it's like, I know it's just a bunch of ones and zeros and RNG, but it just kind of felt like he was there, and it kind of felt like he was helping me out a little bit. But I'll leave that up for you guys to decide. Because it's nice for me to talk about this, and it's nice for me to think that way, but at the end of the day, we'll never really know for sure. It's nice to think about, and it's nice to imagine, but I don't know. It doesn't hurt anyone, so, personally, I'm going to keep thinking it. But I think that's about all I have time for today, guys. Thank you again so much for watching. Thank you for making this channel up to 21 subscribers, including my mom, who I finally showed her how to make a Google account, or to get her Google account to work so that she could subscribe to me. So thanks, Mom. Love you. Even though you probably stopped watching a while ago, but, love you anyway. Alright, guys, and I will see you in the next video. I love you guys. Thank you so much for all your support, and, like, comment, subscribe, all that shameless self-promotion bullshit. You know the drill. Alright, guys. Bye.